Hello, I'm doing a movie review, and the movie I want to review is the 1978 horror classic Halloween. Now, as you can see, I have Halloween on VHS. Eventually I am going to try to get the movie on DVD, but for now I have the movie on VHS. Now, Halloween is co-written and directed by John Carpenter. Now, John Carpenter, before this, directed a movie called Dark Star and a movie called Assault on Precinct 13, but this is the movie which really made John Carpenter what he is now. And John Carpenter, of course, would go on to direct movies like The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, They Live, Prince of Darkness, Big Trouble in Little China. He directed a lot of movies, and and I'm sure I'm probably gonna get crucified for saying this, but even though this is the movie which really made John Carpenter what he is now, this is not one of my all-time favorite John Carpenter movies. Like when I think of John Carpenter, I generally think of his movies like Escape from New York, The Thing, and They Live. Those are my personal favorite John Carpenter movies. And I'm not saying this isn't a good movie. This is a great movie, but I'm just saying that this is not the movie I generally think of when I think of John Carpenter. But Halloween, this has become really one of the most legendary horror films of all time, and it really is one of the most important horror films ever made when you think about it, because this and Friday the 13th are credited as the movies which really shot the slasher genre into the mainstream. Of course, you could argue that this isn't really the first slasher film, because before this you had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which some people would consider to be a slasher film, and before this you also had a movie called Black Christmas, which I believe I haven't seen Black Christmas yet, but I believe Black Christmas has a very similar plot line to this movie, and also you could argue that the first slasher film was technically Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, because I know some people do consider Psycho to be a slasher film, so if you consider the original Psycho to be a slasher film, that means that the slasher genre really dates back to 1960, but the movie is also co-written and produced by Debra Hill. Now, Debra Hill, she actually went on to produce a lot of John Carpenter's movies, she also co-wrote and produced The Fog. I know she produced Escape from New York. I don't know if she had anything to do with The Thing, but Debra Hill, she helped, she went on to produce a lot of John Carpenter's movies, and Debra Hill, unfortunately, is no longer with us. She died of cancer in I believe 2006 or 2005, so yeah, she's unfortunately no longer with us, but Halloween, of course, there's really not much to say about this movie, which really hasn't already been said before. Now, the movie, of course, is an independent film, and, and this went on to become one of the highest grossing independent films of its time, and this, of course, is just a classic movie. Even though it's not one of my favorite John Carpenter movies, this is definitely a great movie, and and you definitely have to respect this movie. Now, Halloween is about a mental patient named Michael Myers, who you realize has been locked up in a psychiatric hospital for 15 years ever since he murdered his older sister when he was 6 years old. So he's been locked up in this psychiatric hospital ever since he was 6 years old, and what happens is on the night before Halloween he ends up escaping, and he then returns to the small town that he lived in when he was a child. So what happens is his doctor, Sam Loomis, ends up going after him, and and what happens is Michael Myers ends up stalking all these babysitters, particularly one babysitter who is a girl named Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis is actually the daughter of Janet Leigh, who was in Psycho, and you can tell Psycho definitely had a big influence on this movie because, like, for one, the character of Sam Loomis from this movie, that character is actually named after a character from Psycho. Now, Sam Loomis is played by Donald Pleasance in the movie, and originally, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee were both considered for the role of Sam Loomis in this movie, and that would have been really interesting to see how Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee would have handled that role, but Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee turned them down, and I was watching a documentary on this movie, and I think it was Debra Hill in the documentary who said she later saw Christopher Lee at a party, I believe, and Christopher Lee said to her not being in that movie was the biggest mistake of his career. I think it was Debra Hill who said that. I'm not sure, though, but I know somebody in a documentary said that Christopher Lee said that to them a few years after this movie came out. But Donald Pleasance does a great job as the character of Sam Loomis in this movie. Like, one of the things I like about Sam Loomis is you can tell this character definitely has a few screws loose. Like, you can tell he's not all there, and that's probably because of how long he spent really studying Michael Myers, and you can tell that, him, like, analyzing Michael Myers has really made him kind of crazy as well. Now, in the movie, it's kind of implied that maybe Michael Myers is driven by some kind of a supernatural force, like it doesn't say that flat out, but it is kind of implied that there might be something supernatural going on, because Sam Loomis, he keeps claiming that Michael Myers is more than just a man, and you could just assume that's because Sam Loomis spent so long analyzing Michael Myers that it really got inside his head. But in the movie, you see Michael Myers get shot, and he's still going, so you don't know if he really is like some kind of superhuman being, like you really don't, or if he's just like really crazy, and like and him getting shot really doesn't matter to him. I mean, like, they really don't tell you if there's anything supernatural going on, but it is almost implied in the movie that there is something supernatural going on. And of course, in the sequels to this movie, they really kind of blew the whole supernatural thing out of proportion, especially with Halloween 4, 5, and 6. But Halloween is a great movie, though. There's really not much else I can say about this, which hasn't already been said, like I just said, but, Halloween is a great movie. Now, most people already know this, but Michael Myers' mask in the movie was actually a William Shatner mask, and I hear some people saying it was a William Shatner Star Trek mask, but I heard other people saying that it was a mask of William Shatner from the movie The Devil's Reign. But basically, they used this mask as the mask that Michael Myers wears in the movie, and John Carpenter, I heard John Carpenter say how he owes his entire career to William Shatner. But Halloween, it's a great movie. I definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, and bye.